All right, guys, what's happening? What's happening? Happy Monday to you. It is Monday, May 23rd, 2022. This morning, we're going to talk a little bit about what really matters in life and business. This weekend, I was listening to a lot of things and reading a lot of things, and I was just reminded of just how important some things are. And most of the time, the things that are most important are often not talked about, right? So I wanted to talk about that this morning. I wanted to refocus everybody going into this week, into this last week of May that we have in front of us here, and talk about what is really most important in life and business. That's what we're going to talk about this morning. Let's get started. It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up. All right, guys. Happy Monday to you. I hope you guys are having an awesome start to your week already. This morning we're going to unpack an important topic here, and that is, what is most important in life and business. I was reminded of this by reading about business, but it really cascaded over into my thoughts about just how so many people out there in the world function in life. And I think that as the world has evolved over the last I guess 3 decades, it feels like things have been accelerated in the wrong direction in a lot of ways, right? The foundation of everything is changing. What's important, or what appears to be important based on what people are consuming and watching and all of those sorts of things. I was sitting on the couch with my wife last night, and she was showing me some things that she came across online that were, just crazy stuff, just doesn't make any sense. Like, why are people doing the things that they're doing? And it all comes down to people's values kind of being blurred in the wrong direction, losing track of what's really, really important. And so that's what I wanted to kick us off this morning talking about is what is really important. What does that look like? And so before I jump into all the thoughts I have on that, I want to say good morning to some folks. David Martin, what's happening? Mr. Tony Grout, good morning to you. Steve Flaherty, good to see you on here, brother. Randy Aber, good morning to you, sir. Daniel Good, Ed, Tammy Clark, my girl, good morning to you. And John Stanton, good morning. And Gary, good morning to you, man. So, the world we live in, man, is so crazy and sideways sometimes. And, I think that, so many people get confused about what is really important. And, as I was reading a book this weekend, and I was I was actually watching YouTube videos on some of the best to ever do it in business. And, when I looked at what was most important to them, it became really clear as to why they were most important. And a couple of things really stood out to me. Number one, they never got caught up in the noise of the world. They stayed focused on what was important to them. They stayed focused on the values in business that they believed made them successful. They never gave up when things got tough. They never gave up when they fell down. And lots of times they fell down. Today, you probably wouldn't believe that unless you actually read the history of it, heard the history of it from them telling the story of how they fell down. You probably wouldn't believe it, because on the surface today, it looks very different. And that's one of the problems that exists in the world, is that we see the end result of what people bring, at the end of all the hard work, of all the adversity, of all the difficulty, of all the failures. And I started thinking about my own journey and, early in life, what I was focused on and how that has evolved and changed, and how my faith has helped that evolve, and how my faith has helped me get centered in so many aspects of my life. And I started thinking about just how off center so much of our world is, and how distracting that can sometimes be, and how we have to really be clear and reset ourselves every day. It got me thinking about what helped me reset. And there have been times over the past few years that my morning routine has been off. And when that morning routine has been off because I'm either, I'm sick, I'm extremely tired, there's just massive amounts of stress happening in my life, and that throws my schedule off a little bit. I've noticed something about how that impacts me, and then ultimately how that impacts me in business. And that is that if I don't reset myself every single day and get focused on and consume content that is pushing me in the right direction for what really matters in life and business, and that is the values that we live by, the culture that we create for people to exist in business, and how we interact with others. If we're not constantly learning, if we're not constantly pouring into ourselves in order to reset that balance every day, we can really get off course, guys. Because here's one of the things that I listened to this weekend is there was a question about what happens if a nuclear war breaks out, and the response was brilliant. It basically was, and I'm just paraphrasing and summarizing, you can't worry about everything. You have to stay focused on what's in front of you and what's important. And there's always going to be a risk of terrible things happening in the world. But what really matters is how we operate every single day, how we show up, and how we make a difference, and how we reset ourselves to be the best version that we can be for the rest of the world. And the example that we set by being that is more important than what we realize. And as I was watching this and thinking through all of this weekend, I started thinking about what happens when we don't do that. And when I look around me, man, I see so many people that are so lost. One of the reasons that I love doing this show is how many people send me messages about the fact that they went to church for the first time, or they went and got saved as a result of listening to something that I talked about with regard to faith. And I feel like, to each their own. Everybody gets to make that decision for themselves when it comes to their faith and what they follow. But for me, it has been the center point of everything has been, that idea of, why are we really put here? What are we really put here to do? And we're put here, guys, to make a difference, to build relationships with people, to pour into other people's lives, and to make an impact. And that's what really matters. And I think that so often in this world that we live in today, there's such an availability of comparison, right? That, this person's doing this and I wish I could do that, or this person has achieved this and I wish I could have it. And ultimately, guys, what I've realized is that happiness and purpose is an inside job. You have to figure it out yourself. You have to figure out what is inside of you. What is it that really guides you? What is it that gets you out of bed in the morning, and what excites you? And so for me, I've been blessed. I kind of fell into this career in first sales and then business, where I get to interact with a ton of people, right? And for me, I've always been a people person. My mom tells the stories all the time. I was just with my parents on Saturday, and they were telling the people, the lady in the store that was helping us out, about, how I've always been somebody that talked to other people since the time I was able to talk. And so I stumbled into this career that is really just, man, it's a gift from God, because it's such a gift to me to get to do what I do every single day. And that is what really matters the most, guys, is doing what you love, man, having purpose, getting to interact. I've got a guy that I'm going to spend time with today. I've got one of our guys from out of town, Mike, is coming in. I've got a guy that flew halfway around the world that we get to hang out with today, and he's on here this morning. Good morning to you, Ali. And that's what life is about, guys. It's about, man, being able to build relationships with people from halfway around the world and then getting to spend time with them. I get to show this guy around my city today. We get to talk about some of the things that we're going to accomplish together. And it's incredible, the world that we live in. But that's what really matters, guys. How we spend our time, how we impact people, how we build an environment for our families, for our children, for our businesses that allow people to thrive. That's what really matters. It's not about the number of digits on your paycheck or what the number starts with. Those things come as a result of the rest of it. And I know for people out there that might not be in the situation and might be hurting today, I know there's a lot going on in the world and people feel the pressure of inflation and rising fuel prices and all that stuff. I know it might be hard for some people to accept that as a fact at this very moment in your life, but I'm telling you, man, believe it. The sooner you believe that and the sooner you live and act on purpose as opposed to chasing money, the sooner the money will come for you. The sooner the gifts will start to fall in place because you're doing what you love. You're doing what actually makes a difference, what actually makes an impact. You will love your life. And I want everybody to feel that. It's why I do this show every single morning, 5 days a week. Because I want to share. If there's one thing that I can share that I've had an experience on that will help somebody else, that's what I show up here for. So what really matters, guys, is how we behave, how we act towards each other. How we act towards our enemies, our supposed enemies, really defines who we are. And what really, really matters is how we show up for those people who are around us every day. You know, I think often about raising children is one of the most, you know, it's one of the most trying and difficult but rewarding things that you'll ever do, because being a father is the most insecure position that I have in life. You never feel like you do it well enough, right? You never feel like you've given it everything you got. You always feel like there's more to give. If you're at work, you'd rather be at home. If you're at home, you feel like you're stealing from work. All of those balanced things are challenging. But the example of being a parent is a good one, because the way that we raise our children and the way that we interact with them, there's two different ways that we can interact with our children. We can stop something that they're doing from a behavior standpoint in the moment. We can do that by control. We can raise our voices. We can yell, we can scream, we can punish, we can do whatever we want, right? As parents, to some degree. But ultimately, if we are not teaching the lesson, if we are not building a culture in our family that allows them to learn and understand why it's important for them to do things a certain way, then it becomes more difficult. And the same is true in every aspect of our life. In business, we have options of the ways that we can lead. We have options of the ways that we can build a culture within a company. You can build a culture of compliance, or you can build a culture that allows people to grow into their gifts. I worked in a lot of places that had a culture of compliance, not that it, and in some cases, a culture of control. It doesn't work, guys. What really matters is that we create environments, we create cultures, we create space for people to be able to be themselves and grow and learn and feel safe and encouraged. And I'm not talking about the version of safe that a lot of people talk about today. There's crazy things going on in the world. I'm listening to, the idea that people can, just come and go whenever they feel like it. If they don't feel like showing up for work today, they don't have to. And that is crazy to me, right? There's balance to this, but there's also the idea that if you create an environment that people actually feel better because they're part of it, that's the magic. That's how companies become incredible places that people never want to leave. And that's my goal. I want to create a home for my children that they always want to come back to, that they feel encouraged by, that they feel like, man, what a gift it was to grow up in this home. That's my goal. That they are better educated and better, more aware than they would be in any other place that they could ever go. More safe, more loved. And at work, I want to create a place that people just love being part of, that's exciting, that has vision, that makes them not better employees, not better team members, not better leaders, but better people, better mothers, better fathers, better all-around human beings by being part of what we're building. And we want to feel like we have purpose. And how do we do that? Well, we solve the biggest problems that exist for the people that we serve. That's what really matters. And we do it by constantly learning, by constantly getting better, by constantly leaning in and challenging ourselves to do something that's higher and better than we did yesterday. And how do we do that? We do that through relationships, through meeting people, through conversations with those that we don't see eye to eye with. That's how we grow, guys. We don't grow in this world. And part of the reason that I think things are a little challenging in the world right now is that, most of the leaders around the world, they just go to their corners with the people that agree with them. They don't spend time with the people that they disagree with. That's the problem. I love learning about things that I don't know. I love learning about how people come up with the ideas that they come up with, what their values are, how different cultures behave, what exists in those cultures, because it helps us understand how people think, and it helps us understand how people feel fulfilled. And that's what's most important. If we can figure out what makes people feel special, what makes people feel important, what makes people feel energized so that they are their highest and best in every aspect of life, that's where the rubber meets the road. And that's what's really important in life and in business. And as we become more aware of that, and we actually build businesses and build a life and build a family around that idea, the world really does become a better place. That's what it's all about, guys. Let that sink in this Monday. Think about what that is for you. Think about how you can make a difference, how you can help, how you can stop this game of comparison in your own life, and how you can just show up as the best version of you. And as you do that over a period of months and years, all the rest of everything else that you're currently worried about maybe will take care of itself. I promise you. It's happened in my life, man. And I look back and I'm blown away, man, by the people that were put in my life, the friends that opened this door and that door, and relationships and business and just everything. But all starts with understanding what's really important in life and in business and taking care of that. Thank you guys for being here. You guys show up every single day, man. I love you guys. Thank you so much for your support. Brett, what's happening, man? Good morning to you. No question, man. No question. Rick, what's happening, man? Jason Calloway, good morning to you. Keith Calloway Jr., good morning, man. Debbie, good morning to you. Stephen Bradshaw, good morning to you. Thank you guys for being here. Wishing you an amazing week. I will see you again tomorrow morning, same place, same time, right here on Morning Perspective. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.